From music videos to corporate tech presentations, the RGB glitch effect is everywhere. You're used to seeing these harsh digital artifacts tearing across screens. Often, editors rely on pre-packaged templates to achieve this look. The problem with a template is that it locks you into someone else's timing. If your video requires a fast, aggressive cut on a specific drum beat, a pre-made glitch asset will rarely match your exact rhythm. To gain full control over the timing and intensity, we are going to engineer a procedural glitch transition completely from scratch, using only the native tools inside After Effects. Step 1. Create a new composition and type out a single basic text layer to serve as our starting graphic. By writing the mathematical expressions that drive the distortion yourself, you dictate exactly when and how the visual breaks. To build a proper RGB glitch, start by pre-composing your text layer. Then duplicate that pre-comp twice so you have 3 identical layers stacked in your timeline. Next, apply the Shift Channels effect. Set the bottom layer to display red, the middle to green, and the top to blue. At this stage, the channels block each other out, showing overlapping primary colors. But when they collapse back onto each other, the visual needs to combine. Select all 3 layers and change their blend mode to add. This forces the light values from the red, green, and blue channels to combine, restoring your text to pure white. Splitting a single solid image into its raw red, green, and blue data streams is the required first step. You cannot manipulate the colors independently until you isolate them. Now we introduce movement. Select your first layer, press P for the position property, and Alt-click the stopwatch icon. This opens your expression controls. Type the exact phrase wiggle 520 to begin. A wiggle expression is a line of code that commands the software to randomly generate values. It shifts the position 5 times a second by up to 20 pixels. Apply this exact expression to all 3 color layers. Instantly, the red, green, and blue channels begin violently vibrating apart from one another. We have color separation, but now we need structural damage. Apply the wave warp effect, changing the wave type to noise to slice the entire image along a horizontal axis. By adding a secondary wiggle expression to the wave height parameter, the intensity of these horizontal slices fluctuates automatically, entirely without manual keyframing. You now have the individual color channels drifting randomly, while the global composition continuously tears itself apart horizontally. The image appears physically broken. To add texture, duplicate your distortion adjustment layer. Decrease the wave width to generate rapid, high-frequency microglitches that chatter across the edges of the text. Next, apply the noise effect to that layer and increase the amount to 30%. This blankets the composition in heavy digital grain. Finally, create a new black solid layer above everything. Apply the Venetian blinds transition, setting the direction to 90 degrees. This mechanically simulates the tight horizontal scan lines of an old CRT monitor. Click the Preserve Underlying Transparency toggle. This forces the black scan lines to only draw themselves inside the boundaries of your text, leaving the background empty. Wrapping clean, mathematical vector shapes in heavy grain and physical scan lines gives the digital effect an analog tactile weight. Now we use this chaos to hide and edit. Scrub through your timeline and find the exact frame where your wave distortion reaches its absolute peak. Stop your playhead when the screen is practically unreadable. Leave your playhead locked on that exact frame. Double-click your text pre-composition to open the original typography layer. Select the text layer and use the Split Layer command. This instantly divides your text into 2 independent pieces right at the playhead. Select the newly severed second layer and change the text to your next title. Because the text changes at the exact millisecond of maximum visual destruction, the audience never registers the cut. The anomaly successfully masks the edit. Play it back in real time. The typography violently fractures into its raw red, green, and blue components before instantly snapping into the new word. You now have a fully modular, reusable systemic asset. You can import this structure into any future project and swap the text out as needed. Test the limits of the system. Open your position properties and change the wiggle frequency from 5 to 50, or push the wave height to its extreme limits to see how the code reacts. By constructing the underlying math from scratch, you dictate the rules of the distortion. You design the exact nature of the visual failure.